Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm setting up my art tent. I just want to talk to you about what I've bought. I guess I'll be reviewing the products, things that you need. If you plan on doing any art shows this year, or if you plan on buying a 10 by 10 booth, this is the perfect video for you to watch. I want you to not only see the setup, but also to see how much it costs to buy one of these things and how much you might have to invest. So I've bought the Eurmax 10 by 10 Easy Up pop-up tent. And I guess it's not as easy as I thought. I was thinking that this is something that you could do on your own. I definitely feel like you need to, this is a 2-person job minimum. I can't imagine just doing this on my own. Maybe it's because I'm short, maybe it's because I don't have enough arm strength, but I definitely feel like you should at least have 2 people working on this thing. But getting it up is, fairly easy. The next step after this is we decided to put the walls around the tent. So right now we're just kind of grabbing those stuff. I think my dad went to go get some stools because, again, we're short people. There he is back there with the ladder. Eventually I go grab a stool. Now there are other canopy tents one of them is called the Easy Up tent. I don't know if it's in fact actually easier to set up compared to the Eurmax. My reasoning for buying the Eurmax tent was because I saw the reviews, they were really good, and it looked like it had a lot of canopy accessories. So I went with that. There seems to be a lot of accessories, especially in weights and weighing down the canopy. So, that's the reason why I went with the Eurmax. It is a lot more expensive, I think. The Eurmax canopy cost me about $250, I want to say. I'll make sure I, put something in the text to confirm that, how much exactly I paid for. There are cheaper ones from Eurmax, like, I guess depending, if you get just the canopy tent with no walls or a canopy tent with the awning. I know when I bought this tent, it was during the time of COVID, so a lot of these prices did jump up on me, like maybe about a good $30 or $40. But so far I am liking it, and it's not that bad. I just kind of wish it was something that you could do by yourself. And also, getting the walls up were not as simple as I thought. So each wall comes with, at the top there will be like a strip of Velcro that you can attach, and on each side there's a zipper that goes all the way down, and there's also Velcro strips that you attach onto each leg. Obviously putting the Velcro strip wasn't, like, anything with Velcro was easy. I guess the annoying part was the zipper that we had to zip down. Eventually you're gonna probably see us working on it like pretty soon, and we're gonna be like in that back corner. The zipper it just seemed like we had to really tug hard on the tent to pull it down. Like when you pull up your zipper and you don't have it like the zipper perfectly straight to easily zip up. That was kind of our issue. It felt like we had to really tug the tent to get the zipper to work properly. So that took us a lot of time to do. So once we got all 3 sides of the wall up, we start to put our attention to the next product that I bought, which is a StaBar. And also, just to be clear, before going into the StaBar, with this tent, it does come with a 4th wall, which would be the front, the entrance. However, I didn't want to put that up since that's not how I would want to set up my art booth. So the next thing is a StaBar. Well, a StaBar, if you've been looking into art booths and trying to set one up on your own, you will probably realize that there's only a few companies that sell things for art booth. One of those companies is Flourish Displays. Now, if you go to the website flourishdisplays.com, you will see that they have their own canopy called the Trimline Canopy. So if you go to products, Trimline Canopy, and I guess features. Let's see if they have that. Oh, and as you can see, they have a sale. So if you're gonna buy something, I recommend buying it now. So as you can see, with their tents, let's see. Oh, here are their prices. 10 by 10 with an awning StaBar kit. It's like $1,000, you know. Let's see one without. I guess this is another one. I don't know how much it would cost if you just did a 10 by 10 with only, I guess, just take off the 135. So what that would be about, you know, just about $1,000. It's about $1,000 to do this kind of setup. Because I already bought my own tent, what you need to do is go to accessories. Let's see, or maybe I think it's pop-ups. Yeah, products, pop-ups, and let it load. What I need to buy were these two things right here. Depending on what pop-up tent you bought, if the legs are hex or octo or square. On the Eurmax, they're square. So I bought these two. Originally, I had just bought the lower ones. I thought I would have been fine with just a lower bar. But the first time that we set this up, I kind of slowly realized if I get the upper ones, the tent would be a little bit more stable, and it might be easier to put my soft walls, which basically is just a tarp. So if you go to the mesh panels, features, and wait for that to load. Loading, it's pretty slow. You'll see the, I guess, soft walls that they come with. I do like the fact that theirs is kind of a soft mat. Who knows, maybe I'll buy a really big felt kind of a thing to put behind it so I can get a nice solid background. And I'll show you what mesh panels I bought or what tarp I bought to hang my walls. So instead of buying, you can buy their tarps too. I think they cost, they can be a pretty penny. So 3 mesh panels for 10-foot walls, $555. You know, I went the cheaper route because I don't know if the art booths and the art fairs is something that I truly want to do. I mean, I want to try it. I've done it before, but I'd rather have kind of cheap out on the tent by getting my own pop-up tent and buying the StaBars and buying my own mesh tarps and things like that versus buying everything from them. Would it have been simpler to get everything from them? Yes, it would have, but it would have cost me about $1,000, and I really wanted to buy a printer. So it was either buy a printer or invest in one of these. You do have to pay for your own shipping. They're not Amazon is what the guy told me. So for even though it's $130 minus my 15% discount, which brought it down I think to like $119, shipping was about maybe $30-$40. So really I paid $155 for each of these bars. So just keep that in mind also before you get surprised and you call them. And yes, you do have to call them. They don't do emails or anything like that at all. So you call them, you place an order. Really friendly people. They're great to work with. Great customer service. I got mine. I think they're based in Texas, so I got mine. I live in Florida. I got it in about 4 days. So, but these are the 2 bars that I have, and that's what we're setting up now for the tent. So first we decided to set up the upper StaBar. We didn't know which one would be best, if to do upper or lower, so we just winged it. We read the instructions and nothing really told us which one you had to do first, so we just did the upper ones first. And I've got to say, installation is pretty simple. It composes of I think 6 individual bars, which you have to link the male and female ones together, and then you put the bars on top. into the slots that they give you. So once we get the top ones done, again, fairly simple, easy process. You know, they all come with screws, that way you can tighten the bars. Eventually we get the lower ones in as well, and we had done that process before, so that was an easy setup. I highly recommend, if you have a pop-up tent and you're looking to do some art shows, I definitely think this is one of the better ways to go. Just buying the pop-up tent and then getting the StaBar. Again, you don't even need the lower or bottom one. I thought having both added some stability, and you'll see later why I added both bars. So, you know, you can either get just the upper one or lower one. I decided to buy both. Again, right now it's 15%, so super duper worth it. You know, if you just want to save a little bit of money, that's the route that I took. Oh, and one more thing to keep in mind: those StaBars, they're a little bit heavy. I'm not saying that anyone can do them by themselves. Obviously, I pretty much did these on my own while my dad watched me, but they are a little bit on the heavy side, you know, like probably trying to pick up 2 bars at once is possibly a little bit much, but it is something that you could set up on your own. The next step is me now hanging the mesh panels, or actually what it really is just mesh tarp. And I'm hanging them by sort of overlapping. So it's an 8x10 tarp. I have part of it going over the upper StaBar and then part of it going below it. I'm going to try and go on Amazon to see if I can find tarps that are 6 foot by 10, because that would be the perfect size. But for now, this is what's going to have to do. And the way I have it hanging, I had to use 2 bungee cords and strap them together. And I'll put a picture of the type of bungee cords that I got, because these bungee cords, they have the ball at the bottom, and they also have, on the other end, they have a hook. So I basically hooked 2 bungee cords, one at the top, one at the bottom. This mesh tarp has holes in them, so I'm able to put it through one of the loops and kind of hook them together in the middle, if you can see that in the picture. So I do that on each side, and honestly, it really didn't look that bad. I'll also put the price on how much each tarp cost me and how much the bungee cords cost me. So as you can see here, I'm showing you how I did my bungee setup. There goes like the double bungee cord that I was talking about, where one ball is at the end of the hook and the other one's at the top, and I just joined them together. I'm trying to put the artwork behind the bungee, so that's my goal for next time. When I get more artwork, I want to cover up those bungee cords. And I have regular ball bungees, tying them at the back, like together. That way they're like nice and like kind of closed up together. So I didn't do it for all of them, but I will next time. And the last thing I bought was a table. It's a 6 foot table. It folds in half. I got it at BJ's for $50. So I thought that was a really good price. I could have bought it at Walmart, but they didn't have the size that I want. It was out of stock, so I just bought it at BJ's. But you can go to Walmart too, or just buy it on Amazon. And that's sort of my setup for an art booth. There's not much to it. I think the next time I'm just going to keep working on making more artwork, making sure that all of my canvases can be mounted properly, because right now I am transitioning from canvas to wood panels, and the only way I can mount them is by adding mounting hooks onto the back. So I'll be working on that next. I'll be working on just getting more artwork done and just really finalizing the art booth, getting a nice tablecloth to put over the table. I'll probably get some grid walls, because there are other like small little, like, I guess, art shows, you could say, that are being done in Florida, where the only thing you can use is a 6 foot table, and that's the reason for buying a table of this size. I didn't want the 8. I feel like 8 feet, it would have been like going around the table would have been a little much, unless I just put it like kind of like in the middle, but going, I guess, parallel to the 2 walls, if that makes sense. So yeah, for now, I think it doesn't look that bad. I know this is a pretty weird angle, but once I've gotten like all the mesh panels up, it was looking kind of cool, honestly. Like, I think the only thing I would want to work on is maybe, if it was possible, find maybe white mesh panels. And I did find some on Amazon. One of them was 6 foot by 8. Because the bar, like those upper and lower bars are about 6. They're like exactly like 6 feet apart. So that would have been the perfect size, and it would be nice to get them in white. That way I didn't have so much contrast going on. But aside from that, honestly, I don't think it looks that bad. So now that I have this setup going on, let's do all the math and see how much a setup like this would cost you. So first is the Eurmax tent. It's a 10 by 10 tent, easy pop-up canopy with 4 removable side walls, a roller bag, and it comes with 4 sandbags. That was $229.95. Then there's the StaBars for the pop-up tents. I bought 2 of them, the lower and upper StaBar, both for $130 each. However, I got a 15% discount that's still currently going on right now, and I paid for shipping, so these were $158 each. Then we have the mesh tarps, so I had to buy 3 of those. Those were $24.99 each. Then I bought the tie-down cords with the bungee balls at the bottom and like the hook at the top. That one was $4.99 each for like 12 of them, and I had to get 2 packets of those. Then there's the regular, plain black ball stretch cords. Those were $2.99 each. I believe about 4 of them come in a packet, and I bought 4 just because I didn't know how much I needed, and it kind of looked like, because of Corona, like the hardware store was just like low on bungee cord, so I just like stocked up just in case. But I do plan on using them all to get the little corners that I showed you earlier in the video. And then next, I also bought the table. The table was $49.99, so that's for me to put all my stuff on. All of that came to a grand total of $692.85. And yes, that is a lot, and technically speaking, if you go back in the video and you see, if you go to Flourish displays, yeah, you probably could spend like a good grand on this setup. So I mean, I'm off by like $300 ish, not even. I think it was a little bit more than that. But hey, maybe if I had gotten like bigger Trump checks, I probably would have bought the Tet as a whole set from Flourish displays. But I'm trying to work with what I got, so this is what I have. And one more thing that I forgot to mention, I didn't explain what I use to hang my artwork. So I'm using curtain rod brackets. I bought them at Lowe's. There's 14 in a pack, and it costs $228. Very inexpensive. That is not part of the grand total of the booth. And obviously, depending on how much artwork you have or how you want to hang your artwork, it's going to vary. I know with the mesh walls, this works perfectly because the hook is small enough to where I can just put the hook in and hang my artwork on there. I guess another price that's going to vary is me buying just cheap little mounting brackets, but those are very inexpensive. The grand total that I gave you basically shows how much the main tent is going to cost you. I hope the video was insightful and it showed you probably how much it might cost to design your art booth. As well, I also hope that this video showed you possibly how long to set up the tent. I think we spent maybe a good 2 hours setting everything up. I think the longest part of it really was just getting the plastic walls up, the white walls, and trying to zip them down. That took us quite a bit of time. And yeah, then just where you can go to get all the stuff. I bought most of my stuff at a hardware store called Harbor Freight. So just check a local hardware store and you can probably find those things like the bungee cords and the tarp. If not, then you can probably just go on Amazon for those things. But the only things that I bought on Amazon, I believe, was just the tent, actually. The tent was the only thing that came from Amazon. Everything else, it was from Flourish Displays, or it was just a regular hardware store. Because I know things are getting a little hard to stock up on because of COVID. So I hope the video was helpful. Leave a comment below. You can ask me any questions, and I'll answer them in the comments. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.